to talk about, my chest just got tight even thinking about it, something that happened to me yesterday, which is, as I've talked about, one of the challenges I've learned now with my brain is that if I don't have significant downtime between activities, I'm much more likely to feel dysregulated. And I had, again, another medical appointment and stuff yesterday. And one of my best friend is going through some really difficult stuff. And I was driving home and had been I wanted to talk to her because I was concerned about her. And yet I felt really stressed and she was really stressed. And this happens a lot where I'll think, even if I'm not talking to somebody like her or whatever, I have noticed more and more that my window of tolerance for being stressed out with someone is getting smaller and smaller. Now, in regard to work, it doesn't feel like that because with work, it's not about me, right? I am sitting with, I'm there. It is about me in terms of our relational dynamics and therapy, but I'm not actively, of course, asking the person I'm working with to regulate me or respond to me about my stuff. So that doesn't feel dysregulating. For the most part, hardly at all. It can feel dysregulating if they're really suffering or struggling or something like that, and it triggers something for me, and I try to check in with that. But it happens in my personal life. And I guess I'm having a hard time really explaining this, but what really was happening was that my parents had, as I've talked about, really eggshell, very angry, up and down, intense, dysregulating behavior. And when I'm talking to someone, and even if they're not upset with me when they're in that space, and I haven't had time to accommodate myself, it feels like my chest is about to explode. I feel so stressed out. And I was driving home, it was later in the day, and I wasn't feeling great. I'd gone through a lot yesterday. And my friend was we'd been texting and we'd talked the day before, even more than usual. And my phone died. And I was relieved. I was relieved because I felt like I didn't want to not be there for her, but I was driving home and I felt so stressed out. And so what I want to share with you is that when we're having interactions with others that can mirror that intensity, that whatever that we felt in childhood, or it's just where our brain's at that day, and then the world is asking us to show up like that, it can be very dysregulating. And so here's what's important to do. Number one, trying to recognize if you can when you're in that state. So for me, I really notice it here, I feel tightness in my chest. Maybe for you, it's in your stomach, maybe your head hurts. And then when I'm doing that, I will not answer phone calls if someone calls me. I will not text back. I'll text them later. Hey, I'm sorry, I was busy. Can I get back to you? I won't respond. I will get off my cell phone, turn my phone off, because this is a huge source of anxiety for me, especially right now. I'll be on TikTok for too long and I can just feel it. All of a sudden I've gone from listening to content, enjoying it, to now feeling triggered by it, or thinking well, I wish my video could do that, so I should do that strategy. Just overthinking everything. So getting off your phone is a huge one. Off the computer. Sometimes television can be that way. Other times it can be if I'm watching The Great British Bake Off. That's a very trauma regulating show for me. I can be in my bed at night and it can be on and it doesn't stress me out at all. I enjoy it. Or I'm watching a show that's stressful, right? I would want to get off of that show because some shows really bring up a lot of internal content for us. The next thing is to so you're going to remove input. That's what that other video I was talking about yesterday, the input. Removing input, right? Getting quiet, going for a walk. And sometimes I'll think, I have to walk fast and whatever. It's no, just walk to be present outside. Today isn't about the steps or the exercise. It's just about getting yourself outside. In fact, this morning, because I work from home, I'm home a lot. And I've been realizing more and more that I don't want to work outside in a different office, but that the being an isolator and being home, I think in some places when I don't feel good, it's making it hard. So I had already had a couple coffees, my espressos, but I got in my car, and I never do this, and I drove to Starbucks in the next town because it's the only drive-through one. And I just felt that reset. I just needed to get out of my environment. So sometimes maybe it's video gaming, maybe it's going for a walk, maybe it is watching a show, whatever it is that I feel like I'm not explaining this as well as I'd like to, but I want to share this, that sometimes with other people in our lives, even though my best friend is nowhere like my mom, when she's upset and I'm upset, it transports me like an emotional flashback back to childhood. And even though the content is safe, I'm distressed. She's distressed. And I feel like I have been plucked out of my life right now, and I'm back in my room where my mom was screaming at me, or my adult life, when my mom was calling me names and walking out of the house I was paying for or whatever. And I would feel sheer raging panic in childhood and adulthood that somebody was upset with me, and that's what I feel right here, if that makes sense. But oftentimes nothing bad is happening. It's just there's an intensity happening in that moment. And so that's what I wanted to share with you, is that, you might notice, like, why do I feel so stressed out? Like, there's something wrong right now. Sometimes we have these emotional type flashbacks where we're like literally feeling the same emotions in childhood, and the context in the world, the day it's 30 years later, but it's like our body doesn't know that. And so you do want to do some things like I'm talking about, reducing input, increasing output that feels safe, or regulating, taking a bath, taking a walk, like I'm saying, doing some coloring, maybe it's journaling, maybe it's just sitting quietly and doing nothing. I know I talked fast today because I have a client in 6 minutes. Anyway, I hope that made sense. I feel like I rambled a bit, but I'm trying to, like I said yesterday, I really want to more and more bring things here that are just things I notice in my own life, and hope that I can share them with you in a way that feels helpful for your own life. So, thanks for being here. Please stay safe and well, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.